Hi everybody, just wanted to give an interim update here just before Christmas 2020. Working in the boatyard, got some projects lined up for the spring, which we're going to be having to do before the boat goes into the water. I know we're going into lockdown again, so it'll be iffy. I think I can only get in on weekends or after 4 or something like that, or pre-scheduled appointments. So it's a pain in the ass to work on the boat, but here's some projects that we're going to be doing. Well, it's just before Christmas. The week before, and I'm just doing a spot check here on the boat with the mountains of rain that we had. I actually did have water in the bilge because I dried that completely, and I took a look down. It's about 1.5 inches, 2 inches thick. I mean, I know every other year previous owner just left the boat open and exposed to the rain and elements and everything. So every year the bilge was basically full of water, like it was rain over. So I'm sure it'll survive. But I was just hoping to be dry over the winter. But when it goes to plus something, it starts to melt. Anyways, just put my lights on. Basically, I'm running pretty much nothing in here. And this is still screwed in. I've put a little wrap. It's kind of like a heavy duty tarp over top here. I taped this up. I put the beams down, put a big block of wood on top of the instruments, covered that in plastic, so that's all good. And I just didn't want to have any ice or anything up on this part over the winter, which is the Dodger and my tracks, my Traveler, my rope clutches. So I'd like these to still be all right, and they look great. So everything seems to be fine. And it's a bit of a mess out here, but that's okay. And then down below, this looks about normal. Just put the lights on. The bilge is frozen in water right now, so you know what? I think it's probably going to be fine. And batteries I just checked, so I'll post in the batteries. So what the voltages are doing, and the solar panels are still running, keeping everything charged. So sort of a recap of where I was. You can see here I've got the head all skinned in. The fridge I got put in. I got the sink in, and that's actually one thing that I'm going to change. So before I put my water tank in below, I decided that I did not like running this hose, the drain hose, all the way over there and out the existing through hull. And I did that mostly because there was already a through hull there, and I said, okay, well, I'll leave it there. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a hole right directly below the sink here, and then have the line just go straight out. Because traveling all that way, I had some backlog, and then when the boat was heeled over on that side, there was water in it. And then when I heeled over the other side, there wasn't water out of it. It made noises, that kind of thing. So I'm going to try to change that up. And then, I'm going to, I'm going to put one more closet door in here, because this was originally going to be a cold box, but I decided to go with the fridge. And I'm really glad I went with the fridge, because that was awesome, actually, compared to a cold box. And I'm still going to make storage here. So this will just be pots and pans, but I might put a wood stove right here, one of those little mini ones with the chimney stack going right through outside to the hull right here. Or maybe even on this side, just so I can walk by it. because I considering doing some northern Greenland and Iceland sailing. We'll see how the future holds, but that is an area on my bucket list. So the V-berth is basically done except for this front edging. So I'm going to be putting in an access door to get underneath here, because this is kind of annoying having to lift up this big thing to get underneath. That was nice and loud. And then I finished, I've got them over at my field office, my warehouse, the bench cover and the cushions. I had a local lady do up the cushions, and they look really nice, actually. I'll throw a picture of them in here afterwards. And she had some extra material, so she made me some nice matching pillows. So it's nice brown and light brown stripes to match my brown Dodger. And I'm gonna, this part here is all fiberglass except for down below. So I'm gonna skin that this winter, and then I'm going to do something with these windows, because I don't like them. Even if I just fill them entirely in and then redo them, I don't know what I'm going to do. But I'm going to sand them down anyways, and that's one of the reasons why I wanted to get rid of as much stuff in here as possible. So down here I'm doing this insulation on the walls. And it's having a hard time focusing here now for some reason. But putting insulation on the walls, and I'm going to put one last layer of skinning. And I did want, that's interesting, that light shadow is actually where the boat was docked in the marina in Grand Bend. It was between two pillars, and the old owner didn't wrap the pillars, I guess, in bumpers. So the boat hit the pillar on both sides. So actually, I don't know if there's one on this side. It's hard to tell. This side maybe just doesn't have as bright, but basically both sides had those little nicks in them. And so that would be right about there, but you know what, I think this side wasn't as bad on the hull. So basically the boat bashed between the two pillars, and it just nicked them. So I filled them up with an epoxy and a little filler, and then repainted. The outside I got rid of all the scratches, but this is where the quarter berth is, and I still have to do this door, similar to I'm going to do this door. So that's for those who watched my video series, and you know I struggled with the motor mount. I'm going to try one more thing, which is direct drive. So I'm going to get a 1" to 7/8 coupler and put the motor directly on the shaft, and then I'm going to put steel beams coming out with the bracket, and I'm going to kind of fit it in place, tack weld it in. And I'm going to make that completely out of aluminum or steel. And what I intend to do there is just try to do a 1-to-1, because there is so much torque in that motor. I don't think I need the gear ratio. And my RPM on the motor, I don't need to get that high just because there's so much torque. So that's kind of my intention, is to try one more mount change, where I'm going to do a direct drive mount instead of doing the pulleys. So that means I got to pull the pulleys off of the shafts, find myself a coupler, get the motor on the right spot, and then build myself a frame bracket. So I'm basically going to take apart the entire motor mount. I'm going to keep it just in case, so I'll make sure I keep my pulleys and everything. So if it doesn't work well for me, then I will get rid of it. But I'm going to do that this winter. And then one more project as just a simple thing, but I want to take the drive shaft, or not the drive shaft, but the shaft out, the engine shaft for the prop, and I want to pull that right out, and then change the cutlass bearing, and I want to change my shaft seal here inside the stuffing box. So there's a couple projects coming up over the winter. Mostly cosmetic, and it's going to be a lot of sanding and painting inside here. Finishing my cupboard doors, put a lot of work into there. Finish sanding down here into the seating, the settee. Just a little bit of cleanup and paint, insulating underneath the wall, repainting the front V-berth white, repainting this all white up on the top. The galley is basically done, except I'm just going to make one through hull for the sink here. And I'm thinking down here underneath this little thing, you know what? I actually used that as steps, which was interesting. So I guess in one of the layouts, this boat had a sink actually up there, which is why there was a through hull, in which I tapped into with that big hose you can see there underneath, the 2-inch hose. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to leave the seacock in place, close it, and then I'm going to move this hose and put a new through hull right underneath here. As soon as the weather gets above 10 degrees, that'll be the last thing that I do. So it's going to delay my putting in the water tank here again. So I'll be doing that probably while it's in the water before I do any trips. And then over on this side here, I use this pretty extensively for building supplies. But I wanted another water tank here. This is where the old water tank went. So I'm going to put a bladder here and another bladder over here, or I'm going to build it out of a food grade epoxy. So I'm still debating that a little bit. And then construction-wise, project, I just need to put a little desk thing here, so something that you could sit on and put your shoes and pants on, and do a little computer. And then over here in the head, I never did finish the sink setup, so basically this will be where my sink will be, and I didn't finish the shower, so right above the head I wanted to put a shower. Looking forward to getting the season going. Hopefully this pandemic thing lets us get out and about, because making us all a little squirrely here, and I think that we all need a break. Sorry, people out there, they're getting like squirrely. I don't know if that's the best term. Like they're overreacting and underreacting to things, and they're not being rational. I think that it's sad to see people with no faith not having faith in society and their fellow man. You know, there's people just crying dismay and despair, and they need to find this little bit of faith in humanity and in God, to know that it's out of their hands. You know, it's what they say, God's will be done. You know, it's out of our hands. We just have to have faith that it'll work out in the end. But anyways, for me and my little boat, looking forward to getting out on the water. And in the fall, I'm going to be doing my first journey southwards. And we'll see how far I get. As I mentioned, I'm pretty much going to be working on the greenhouse in the summer and doing some summer sailing out and around on Lake Ontario. I'm going to be relocating the boat up to Kingston Way, and for the fall. And then in the fall, I plan on going down south through the canal system, providing they let us in there. Right now, I think you can actually technically go as a Canadian as long as you don't drive into America. So you can fly in, and I think you can come in through watercraft as long as you let them know. And I'll just, so hopefully that's the tact I can take, is be able to travel down the Erie Canal system and then out through New York. And we'll just see how far I get. If I only make it to New York, then I only make it to New York, where I park the boat until the next season. So the winter seasons for me will be trying to do some sailing. And then in the summers, I'm going to be tackling the greenhouse projects that we've got going on. So, and then just doing some local sailing. So we'll see how it goes. Wishing everybody a good Christmas. Just wanted to get an update up there. And be safe. Stick with your families. Have faith. We'll get through this. And we'll all be out in the water there in no time. Cheers. Yeah, so I just wanted to say Merry Christmas, everybody. Have a happy holidays and Happy New Year. Be safe. And we'll see everybody here in Season 3 of Northern Comfort. You might have to pull the pin to slip it on. Like, yeah. So we're good? Okay, let her go for a sec. There we go. So that first block.